I have been running for quite some time now, yet I haven't reached anywhere. These were my exact words 8 years back when I first ran on a treadmill, and probably the last. Well, I have no stance in this philosophical come health debate about running on a treadmill, but my interest towards the topic for today veers towards a much more pragmatic and individualized interest. And hence, I wanted to share my story of transformation with all of you with the help of an appropriate metaphor. Thanks to my years of mind mapping practice and my love affair with metaphors, that I literally own a diary where I have jotted down all the metaphors that I have coined over the years, inspired by different situations and people. So all I did was I went through the pages of the diary, and in 10 minutes' time, I came up with not one, but two metaphors that would be the perfect accompaniment for my talk today. The two metaphors are the invisible yoke and the treadmill syndrome. And I'll talk more about it a little later. But the basic idea of choosing these two metaphors were that I wanted these metaphors to represent how we as individuals or as society at times feel stuck in our life, or we feel strangled in our life. Genuinely, today, if I look at my life, I feel privileged, I feel blessed because I'm thoroughly loving what I'm doing. I bet every bit of my life, whatever I'm doing, whether it's mind mapping, writing, coaching, everything I love. And most importantly, I have this one privilege, which sadly many women do not have even today. That is the choice. Yes, sad, but the truth that many women even today do not have this luxury called choice. But if I look back at my life, I didn't have this luxury too. I grew up under extreme hardships, and my childhood was literally very rough. Born and brought up in a conservative low middle class family of three children, brought up by a single mother under extreme financial constraints, my life is nothing that you see today. Besides, our childhood was constantly pushed and pulled by societal and cultural expectations, and every decision, right from choosing friends to clothes, from choosing profession to life partners, was scrutinized and judged every single day. Scrutinized to a point that once I remember my mom being questioned that why did you allow your teenager girl to wait at the bus stand, as that would bring some sort of bad name to the family. Scrutinized to a point that my mom was being humiliated and questioned and judged for allowing my sister to participate in a dance competition. Given the fact that we were three girls brought up by a single mother under extreme financial constraints, the society expects us to be submissive. The society expects that these women should be meek, conform, and most importantly, stay within the limits. And I don't know who decides this limit. I still wonder. Well, this topic about this gender biased stereotypic behavior of the society needs a personalized interest. And maybe I'll park this conversation maybe for another tech talk. But coming back to the topic, that I want to emphasize on the point that I'm truly and genuinely blessed today have that one privilege called choice, and I take pride in being a woman today. But growing up, I hated being a girl. You heard me right. I hated being a girl. Imagine having to wear that same old skirt from standard 4 to standard 8, or imagine you wearing to have that, bag, that school bag that gets shorter and shorter for you, and you really don't have the privilege to get a new bag every year, or you having to hide your birthday from your friends because you cannot have that privilege to offer them even one toffee on your birthday in case they wish you. But none of this really, whether it was not having the privilege that the other children in the society had, or the luxury of having new uniform every day, or growing up in extreme financial constraints, none of this essentially ever affected me while I was growing up. What did affect me was something else. Growing up, if there was one complaint I would make to God every single day, that was, why did you send me to this earth as a girl? Why this partiality? And today, when I look back, I smile, I laugh at myself because I understand that I didn't hate being a girl. I hated being treated inferior. I hated being treated unequal. I hated being asked to take certain decisions of my life based on my gender. I didn't hate being a girl. It was just that I hated being not treated equal. Besides, there is the society, the structure that tells us that you have to follow certain societal norms, get married by 25, 27, have your first child by maybe 27 or 30, second by 32, so on and so forth. While there's technically nothing wrong or right about the structure, and I have no comments in this, but my concern is, let the woman decide for herself. Let her experience, at least for once, this luxury called choice. Fast forward my life today in 2020. Last year, everything seemed perfect. I was having this perfect, well paying job. I was having a very perfect comfort zone in my life, secured, well protected, a very loving and supporting spouse. And my life seemed perfect to many and enviable to a lot more. And I too started feeling that, yes, this is what life is, full of certainties, and now I am in that perfect zone. And besides, society tells also, what else does a married woman need? But then one fine day in 2019, December, to be precise, 1st of December 2019, suddenly life showed me this mirror, and I didn't like what I saw in the reflection. I suddenly started feeling like a groggy frog. I felt like I was running on a treadmill, running, exhausting my energy, but not reaching anywhere. While I loved to work in this organization where I was working for 10 plus years, as it allowed me to teach, mentor, guide youth, but something within me was missing. And for the first time in my life, I started questioning myself. I did not confirm like my earlier self. I started questioning myself. I asked myself this one question that day on 1st of December 2019. If I had the choice, would I still be continuing this that I was doing? I spent several sleepless nights with this one question. Besides, it's never easy. When I decided to quit my job, it was never easy. When you take that one step towards your dreams, your inner fears, and the collective consciousness of the society around you pulls you back by 10 steps. And that happened to me as well. When I finally, in 2020, January, I decided, no, I should quit my job and give my dreams a try, a few people did support me, but a lot more questioned me. Shubhra, are you taking this sabbatical because you're planning something like family planning and all? And those raised eyebrows when I said no. Shubhra, you are making the biggest mistake of your life. Working for 10 years in such a good organization, and now you think you can do something new in your life? Advice, comments, and unsolicited advice, I say, like this came from every nook and corner. And it took me a lot of guts and grit to finally convince myself and move ahead with the decision, the hard decision. I was happy that for the first time, I did not abide by what people told. I did not let my fears stop me, but I took the decision. I made some plans, I chalked out some plans, I brainstormed, and this is what I'm going to do next. And then in March 2020, boom, the pandemic happened. All the planning that I made, that I was supposed to do to pursue my dreams after I quit job, had to be restructured. Things have to be changed. And we all know what kind of times we all have faced in the past 2 years. If there's one thing common between you and me and everyone in this world is we all fear uncertainties. Yes, uncertainty is something we don't like. But let me tell you, it is during this pandemic, which I personally call as my pilgrimage period, I learned some of the most beautiful lessons of my life, which transformed me from being hating being a girl or being a girl to taking pride in being woman. This pandemic taught me two important lessons of life. Number one, that it is not merely that next door neighbor or your boss or the society or your situations that stops you from pursuing your dreams. Essentially, it is our own inner yokes that stop us. Yes, yoke, as you know, is a wooden cross piece that is tied around the neck of animals and so that they can pull the cart. We all humans, and especially women, irrespective of whether the woman is a young executive or the woman is a househelp, irrespective of who we are and what we are doing in life, knowingly or unknowingly, we all have created this inner yokes around us. And it is this yokes that is stopping us from pursuing our dreams, from taking that plunge. And let me tell you, this yokes that we all have created, it could be just anything. It could be the fear of judgment. It could be the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. It could be just the fear of what lies ahead, uncertainties. The fear could be anything. And so the first lesson that I learned in this pandemic was that, first of all, I have to stop residing in the shadows of what other people think about me. I have to stop residing in the shadows of those, whatever is going to happen next, the shadows of uncertainties. I have to take the decision for myself. I understood that overnight, I cannot dramatically change how the society perceive a woman. I cannot overnight change my situations around, my external situations around me. What I can change is break my invisible yoke and take that first step towards my dreams. The second lesson that the pandemic taught me was, again, a very beautiful one. The pandemic taught me how to be comfortable with uncertainties. We don't know what lies ahead, but we can still be comfortable with the uncertainties. Given the fact that the pandemic was on and I had quit from a well-paying job, life was not easy. There were several questions coming again and again. But what I did was I just gave myself into the work. I stretched my limits. I respected my decision and I just went on trying. I allowed myself to flow. And most importantly, I did not box myself with the fears and expectations and all of that. I learned being comfortable. So these are the two important lessons that I learned during the pandemic, which changed the entire game for me. And what I understand today is, life is not going to suddenly change, or life is not suddenly going to change overnight. We have to take that first step. Nobody is going to come and do anything for us. We are the one who needs to take that first step. And let me tell you, I'm not some extraordinary woman standing in front of you, giving you advice or trying to motivate you. Not at all. Let me tell you this plain fact, simple truth. I'm a very ordinary girl from a very small town, a beautiful town called Dimapur in Nagaland. And I come from there and I stand in front of you today because I had taken that plunge. I had taken that leap of faith to believe in myself and make sure that I did not let the yokes decide the course of my life. In 2020 and 2021, if I look at these 2 years, it has been wonderful. Imagine you suddenly getting up in the morning and at 4:45 a.m., you receive a message from someone saying, Subra, your presence in my life has been a game changer. The way you have mentored, I have just broken all my fears. Or Shubhradi, we just want to be like you, so fearless, so powerful. And when I listen to all of this from the various clients or mentees whom I coach or whom I have inspired directly or indirectly, I understand again just one thing, that it is the day I started believing in myself, the day I started treating myself as equal, was the day I started transforming not just my life, but I started creating impact in the life of others as well. And dear women, I want to tell you that if I can do it, anybody else can also do it. We are all very special. Women have the power to nurture, transform, and create. And in the words of legendary Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, who have defined it in ways that probably none can do, he said, when the Creator made men, he was a schoolmaster with his bag full of commandments and principles. But when he turned to women, he turned into an artist with paint box and brush in his hand. Let that settle. Let me repeat that again. When the Creator made men, he was a schoolmaster, his bag full of commandments and principles. But when he turned to women, he turned into an artist. Yes, being women is that powerful. Being women is so beautiful, and being women calls for celebration. And today, I want to leave you with just this one thought experiment. If you had the choice, if possible, just ask yourself this one question, that what are those inner yokes that is stopping you from pursuing your dreams? And are you ready to take the plunge, break those yokes, and give your dreams a try just for once and embrace uncertainty? Now, you may need 1 month, 1 year, one moment, or 3 years to come up with an appropriate answer for yourself. But, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. I want you to know this, that irrespective of how much time it takes, this answer that you will give it to yourself is worth it, and it's never too late to start. Thank you so much.